Good morning. How are you? Well, it's nicer here in Virginia. The weather is we got sunshine, so we have no discouraging basis for Virginians not to go to the polls. But our state looks pretty securely in the Democratic column for Biden, which wasn't true several cycles ago, but it is true at least right now, today, for this election. No doubt we're in a state of high anxiety, although the numbers suggest we really shouldn't be, and it is conceivable, if the proportions of people who actually show up at the polls is anything like we're told is true of the mail-in ballots, that we actually could have a very good indication by 10 o'clock tonight as to whether or not Biden is our president-elect. Certainly, this is true of some of the prognosticators. They think it's possible because the key battles on the East Coast will give us a clear indication of what's happening in the rest of the nation, especially if the outcome today is not the red mirage, meaning the suggestion that the Republicans are doing well because we haven't had all the votes in yet. Trump is in a very difficult position, and I'm glad of that, because in the final days, it's like he has a death wish, and that does happen to some candidates. I want it over so badly, I'll say things that may work in one quadrant of the election, but not every place else. And I'm talking about him attacking Fauci. That may have been the third rail in American politics these days, because it not only evokes a man who has general respect across the country for the advice he's given us and how he stayed out of politics, but it also evokes the coronavirus, which is the weakest argument that Trump has to succeed himself. So in the final days, we have him doing a number of things that may shore up his base, but if he can't expand that, and his demeanor is such that it's off-putting to voters who are Republican and independent, you would think he couldn't possibly win the election. Now, possibly he could win the election, but the prognosticators looking at the Electoral College don't see it that way. Anyhow, all this guesswork goes away this evening or tomorrow or the next day, and we'll know exactly. And so the hard point is to be stoic enough to get through until we know the final results. Then we have to deal with the new chaos, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. My superstition hems me in. I can remember when I made the turn in my own life thinking that politics was one of the most important things you can do, and I still believe that, although I do a lot of different things, including the law, which is, for me, my talents, very important. I was a freshman at Fordham Prep in the Bronx. I went there in part because the university had a pool, and I wanted to be Johnny Weissmuller, and or like him. And I was going to an afternoon Latin class, how quaint, and Arma Verum Coecano. And I saw the university students going into the gymnasium, and I thought, I wonder what that's all about. And I wasn't late for class, not yet. And so I went up the steps, and it's like a B movie. As I came through the doors into the gymnasium, there's a large Klieg light on the left of the building, and it came across the entire crowd, and it fixated on a young Irish guy who was running for president, and he was telling this mostly first-generation college that there were challenges facing them, and they had to go out and they had to make a difference, and they had to work in the government, and that was John F. Kennedy. And I went back to Latin class, and I guess I didn't get into any trouble, and I was in a reverie the rest of the day about what I'd seen, not only the speech, but because I'd already had an interest in the issues. This man was my inspiration. And I've been lucky to work on Kennedy campaigns since, Bobby Kennedy and Ted Kennedy when he ran for president, and to work with them on the Hill, Patrick Kennedy on the Hill. So, and when I ran for Congress, Ethel Kennedy opened up her house so that I could raise money there. So politics has been deeply ingrained in me, I think from my grandfather. And today is one of those special days in which we either prove that we can make a difference and save the republic or not. And I'm hoping as I talk to you right now that all the vectors, all the indicators are we're going to do that. So be as patient as I am not. And it's still not too late to get a friend to the polls. And I'll talk to you tomorrow when we'll see if we have a result by then. All the best. Bye-bye.